Let me tell you about Ebe, a small south town where peace is plenty, gist is cheaper than pure water, and everyone knows the exact number of spoons in their neighbor's kitchen. If you boil rice in the morning, every evening somebody would ask, "Hope the rice no burn like last Tuesday." That's Ebe, sweet, noisy, warm, and very allergic to minding their business. The market sits in the middle of a beating drum. When you stand at the junction, you will hear it. Vendors calling customers by pet name they didn't apply for. Fine girl with sensible account balance, come and buy tomato. Uncle with destiny beard, this fish go respect your pot today. Everyone had their corner. Mama Tonte owned the fish line. Sometimes her fish still looked like it was planning to swim back to the river. Very stubborn stock. Auntie Tara sold tomatoes so red they were giving cherry pride. Across them, Boma the tailor kept a big signboard that said, "Express service." Meanwhile, the gown you paid for would finish at the same time as a two-term governor. Now there was this empty shop, only one, right between Boma's sewing confusion and Madam Ima Bong, who sold wigs so shiny they were reflecting people's future. The shop had been empty for so long. Dust turned to seniority. Cobwebs were doing community meeting. People said the place had bad luck. Some said Panla stole akara from the former tenant's pot. Some said the roof leaked only when you stock expensive goods. Ebe, people discussed that empty shop like they were reviewing a movie. Every market day, someone would pass and sign, "This place fine, oh, who go finally rent am?" Then life would continue. Buying, selling, joking, survival. Then one Monday morning happened. You know how some mornings have announcements? Even the air will tap you and whisper, "Today, go do anyhow." By 6:30 a.m., that kind of calm breeze walked across Ebe, fresh, early, and that feeling that life was trying to surprise us. The first hint was sent. Not the type of spray people reserve for Christmas. No, this one was soft and sure, like it went to good school. It moved like a quiet musician, not dragging attention but collecting it. I was walking past the mango tree near the market gate when I smelt it. I stopped. I looked around. I even checked my shirt because I didn't trust myself. Before I could say what's this, Mama Tonte marched by, inhaled deeply and froze. "Could they boil heaven here?" she asked. "Nobody. I beg, if heaven gets kitchen, now this thing they go fry." Auntie Tara answered, fanning her nose like that was how to catch perfume. By the time most of us reached the market square, the empty shop wasn't empty again. A new signboard stood there, simple and elegant. "Scent of Glory, custom perfumes by Madam Esitimi Odaro." The shop door was half open. Inside, a woman arranged small golden bottles on a wooden table. The light from the doorway made the glass glow like they were holding morning sun. She was tall and light-skinned, neat from head to toe, the kind of neat that makes you fix your posture. Her white wrapper sat so fine, it looked like it ironed itself. Her hair was wrapped, not doing too much. Calm face, eyes that didn't rush. If Peace had a marketing manager, it would hire this woman. People gathered the way Ebe gathers. Not too close so you can say I wasn't looking, but not too far so you won't miss gist. Baba Boma carried his plastic chair outside to sit like chairman. The woman smiled, lifted her head, and greeted in a voice that sounded like cold water. "Good morning, my people." "Good morning," the market women answered, hungry for more. "My name is Esitimi Odaro. Welcome to Scent of Glory. I make perfumes that match your natural scent. Affordable, clean, and lasting." She said it like a promise, not a sales pitch. You would think she was offering quiet. "Custom," a man repeated. He looked like someone who pronounces words before understanding them. She nodded, "Yes, I mixed to match you." The market did that soft it does when it pretends to understand science. "Madam, let's smell now." Mama Tonte stepped forward boldly, because if you allow shyness to represent you in Ebe, you won't reach front at all. Esetimi opened one bottle and fanned it openly lightly. The scent came out like a whisper and knew the road. It rolled through us, fresh, warm, confident. Someone behind me murmured, "I smell like a person that paid rent on time." Another voice said, "This thing feel make NEPA respect somebody." I won't lie, the perfume was talking politely, but boldly. It didn't shout, it didn't wrestle. It just announced itself, and the air adjusted. Madam Abeg, how much? Auntie Tara asked, already calculating how to smell like leadership. Regular blend, 1,200. Custom blend, 1,800. Ebe went quiet for 3 seconds. We checked one another. It was affordable. You know what that means? The market started to lean in. Wait first, Baba Bona raised his hand like assembly prefect. What do you mean by custom? You go put your name inside or how? Esitimi smiled with patience. I will rub a small oil on your skin to capture your scent. Then I mix a perfume that sits well on you. It lasts longer and smells richer, like it was born on your body. Born on my body? Mama Tonte clapped. I'm interested. My husband must notice me today. If he pass my side and no great romance, I go spray him with receipts. Laughter washed the line like tide. Even Madame Ima Bong, queen of wigs, left her mannequin to inhale properly. Okay, Esitimi continued. Who wants to try sample? Ebire, that girl that always ties scarf like it owes her money, stepped forward first. Put it on me, she said, striking small pose. I want the type that will make favor behave itself. People chorused, Amen, because in Ebe, we don't waste opportunities to support prayer that can catch anybody. Esatimi dabbed a tiny drop of oil on Ebere's wrist and neck. The oil didn't look like it wanted to show off, but the moment it touched skin, the air tilted again, like something aligned. Esatimi closed the bottle, picked one gold vial from the table and fanned it twice. Ebere leaned in, her voice softened. Ah, this one is smelling like intention, as in someone that knows what they're doing. She turned around so we could all smell small, which we did shamelessly. Then Keme, the shoemaker who sells original shoelaces with story, pushed forward. Madam, do for me too. Make it the type that when I pass, customer would just be dropping leg for measurement. He stretched his hand and, with that same gentle method, Esatimi dabbed oil, waited and then brought out another vial. Keme inhaled and started nodding like a narrator that wants to catch. This thing is smelling like new business account. Let me buy for my shadow too. Both of us must prosper. We laughed, I won't lie. I also leaned in because all these custom blend talks, if this is food, patience is spoon. In 10 minutes, a line formed. Proper line. People were advising themselves. Don't overspray, oh. Don't waste your future. One small boy asked, Auntie, can this thing make my teacher forget assignments? We ignored him because academics is between him and his destiny. Esatimi worked with a rhythm. Dab, close, pick, fan, smile. She didn't talk too much. It was like the bottles were talking on her behalf. She had a small hand fan beside the mirror. Each time she fanned a scent, the whole store had its breath. Customers would inhale and make the same face people make when jollof comes out right. Then pastor's wife, Mommy Blessing, arrived with a step that said she didn't come for jokes. Good morning, she greeted like a leader. Please do the one that smells like virtue, not those worldly type. Esatimi nodded and dabbed gently, her face respectfully. Mommy Blessing inhaled, closed her eyes like she was seeing vision. She opened them and whispered, this one will correct my husband's wandering eyes. We had to hold the market from laughing out loud because respect is still something. But Auntie Tari could not behave. She said, Mommy, buy 2, one for Sunday service and one for Monday temptation. Stupid girl, Mommy Blessing smiled and bought 3. Business caught fire like fuel found matches. People that came to price pepper were now pricing perfume. Even the stray dog that lives beside the well sat near the store with responsibility. If anybody bends too low, to smell, it would also stretch nose, balance. By noon, the market had changed fragrance from we tried to we arrived. You would pass body spray, pass oil scent, pass quiet floral, pass one that smelled like an expensive hotel, pass another that felt like old wealth that is not shouting, and cheap. The kind of cheap that makes sense. Madam, not true. 1,800. Someone asked again because poverty doesn't like believing good news. 1,800 for custom, 1,200 for regular. Esetimi repeated. If you want the small size, I have 900. Ah, 900. Glory. Baba Buma whistled. So even apprentice destiny can enter boss. We laughed again. That frank laughter that makes the day brighter. Some things in Ebe Ekene are therapy. Now, let's talk small about the way she touched people. It was nothing dramatic. No chanting, no drama, no rolling eyes. Just that oil on the wrist and neck. Then the silence pulse, then the right bottle. But if you're paying attention, proper attention, you would notice she never wasted a touch. It was like she knew the exact points to meet the skin. Like her hands were collecting something softly and giving something back even softer. The kind of gentleness that comes with practice. At some point, Chief Akbar arrived, retired chief, still using authority to buy discount. Madam, he said, adjusting his faded senator, what can you do for a man of capacity? Capacity of what? Auntie Tara whispered, but God covered her mouth small. Even the wind told her, don't try it. Esetimi gave Chief a blend that smelled like old leather chair in a rich office. Not bad at all. Chief coughed and said, ahem, this is the smell of document. He paid cash and even tipped her, which means the perfume moved him to generosity, a miracle on its own. In between all of this, Boma the tailor kept peeping from his shop, like curtain. Every time he wanted to cut clothes, he would drop scissors and come to inhale again. Buy yours, we told him. I will. I'm waiting for the one that smells like speed, he said, and we clapped together because we love self-awareness in Bekene. By afternoon, scent of glory became the topic. People gave review, unprovoked. It lasts, one said. It's clean, another said. It's giving somebody's son will love me, the third announced. Even people who never cared for perfume were converting. Okada men slowed down to ask price. One of them shouted, Madam, do you have scent for traffic police? She said, I have patience and long suffering, and we nearly scattered. And through it all, Esetimi kept that gentle smile and that tidy pace, that method. The more she sold, the calmer she became. You know, some people get louder when business is booming. No, she was the opposite of noise. She wrote receipts slowly. She packed bottles like they were eggs. If her fang stopped, she tapped it gently and it will remember its assignment. Even the dust on her table knew better than to misbehave. By evening, the market wore a brand new personality. People were walking in confidence, small steps, like their life had correct soundtrack. That's how sense works. Sometimes it rearranges your shoulder. I stood near the wall and watched Ebe Ekene move in its new fragrance. Men pretending not to smell themselves. Women doing as if the breeze just decided to be kind. Children passing each other, but pausing to inhale what their mother's wrapper passed. It felt like Ebe Ekene got a new adjective. Before she closed, a few latecomers still begged for sample. One woman said, I beg, just drop small oil so I can dream of it. Esetimi smiled and told her to come tomorrow that everything has time. She pulled down the store cloth, counted her bottles and carried the wooden cash box inside the shop. As the last light slipped, she stood at the doorway and looked at the line of the faces, still loitering with sweet mouths. Madam, well done. Tomorrow we are here. Bring bigger size, oh, my auntie is coming from town. She nodded, spoke little, locked the small padlock and put the key inside a wrapper, then turned and walked quietly down the path that led towards the river's house. Who is that woman? Auntie Tara asked nobody in particular. Somebody that came prepared, Mama, Tonte replied, adjusting her head tie, as if the scent can shift scarf. We started going home in groups the way Ebe Ekene likes to end a successful day. Slowly with 2 more jokes than necessary. On the way, people compared how their own blend sat on their skin. This one smells like fresh promise, Eberia said. checking her wrist like it was a wristwatch with future. Mine is giving account officer will call me by name. Keme bragged even though his slippers were threatening to retire. We laughed and dispersed, each to our corner. Night arrived full and simple. The market slept. The houses hummed their generator song. Some tenor, some bars, some off-key like they were arguing. Somewhere in the distance, a baby made a gentle evening cry that says, "Milk and carry me." And inside that small shop with golden bottles and lanterns came on again. The same gentle hands that were dabbing oil in the morning now moved with practice in the quiet. No crowd, no gist, just method. She brought out a gold, plain brown, like the kind old women used to keep secret. She opened it carefully and touched its mouth to the same tiny oil bottle she used on Eberi, on Keme, on the rest. The movement was steady. She collected something, returned something, closed it. No chance, no noise, just precision. She placed the gourd near the bottles, lighted a small stick of incense that smelled nothing like the day's sales, and whispered barely words, mostly memory. Outside, the air shifted a little, as if it heard a name it hadn't heard in years. When she finished, she sat for a moment, looking at nothing and everything. Then she blew out the incense. The lantern kept watch. She stacked the golden bottles to one side, as if sorting children by height. After a long minute, she exhaled the kind of breath people release when something inside just took a step forward. Then softly, like she was greeting someone not in the room, she spoke. "Mama Oyon, this town has started smelling your name." She closed her eyes, and for a heartbeat, the silence felt like it had history. Then the lantern flickered, steadied, and then the night swallowed the rest. If you think day one was busy, day two came wearing high heels and confidence. By sunrise, Ebe smelled like God had opened a branch of heaven right inside the market. Even the roosters that normally crowed rough began to clear throat properly before shouting, "Cuckoo-coo!" Dignity had entered the air. Madam Esitimi reached early again, stalls sparkling like someone mopped it with blessing. Her bottles lined up in color order: gold for power, silver for peace, pink for don't ask me my business. The first customer was Eberi, back with excitement you could fry egg on. Madam robbed me again. Yesterday I slept like someone that owns duplex in their dream. She stretched her wrist. Esitimi smiled and did the gentle ritual. Dab, pulse, fan. The smell lifted. People nearby inhaled like they were contributing to praise and worship. Then came Keme, the shoemaker, dancing small. "My perfume is working. One woman buy shoe where she no need. She say she just like my scent." "Congratulations, Keme," we chorused. He raised his chin. "This smell is destiny helper in liquid form." Before long, the perfume had turned to status symbol. No more, "How you dey?" Now, greeting sounded like, "Which version are you wearing? Regular, glory, or custom glory?" People that never agreed before were now hugging themselves to exchange scent. One small boy tried to sell air in nylon. Original scent of glory breeze, 50 naira. We chased him, but deep down, we admired the marketing spirit. At noon, Boma the tailor finally bought his bottle. "Give me that one that smells like deadline discipline." Esitimi handed him a small vial. He sniffed, closed his eyes, and said, "Yes, this one is promising to finish clothes faster." We clapped. By evening, he still hadn't sewn anything, but he smelled productive, and that was half of progress. Mommy Blessing came back too. She said her mother-in-law kept complimenting her yesterday. She even gave me wrapper. "This perfume is evangelism." Auntie Tara whispered, "The wrapper is apology for old behavior. Spray them twice before next family meeting." The market kept laughing, buying, spraying. Perfume became part of conversations. "And one puff to my fish, spray my change. I don't owe you. My scent paid already." But between the laughter, something quiet started tiptoeing around the town. The first whisper came from Oyimebi, the girl whose sister promised to fund her shop. She strutted in glowing, wrist still shining from yesterday's robe. "Madam, I don't even need to call my sister again. She says she's sending the money this evening." We all shouted amen like chorus line. Next morning, she returned with a long face. She didn't call again. In fact, her number is off. Maybe network someone offered, maybe scent confusion. Auntie Tara muttered. We hissed and laughed it off. Then Chief Agbero complained that his bank manager suddenly started avoiding him. Yesterday she was greeting me. Chief. Today she says we'll get back to you. What kind of perfume reduces respect? We laughed because it was Chief, but inside laughter, a small worry stretched leg. By midweek, half of the market was wearing scent of glory. The air was thick with sweetness and success talk. Yet, people's small fortune began to misplace her dress. A man lost the contract he already signed. A woman's goods went missing between loading and arrival. One girl sprayed 3 times and her boyfriend traveled without notice. Still, we were too busy cracking jokes to notice pattern. Maybe Glory has siesta, Keme said, when his shoe buyer ghosted him. Abi, the perfume need fasting to activate, Ebere replied. Every laugh sounded slightly nervous, but Ebe Ekene prefers laughter to fear. That Thursday, strange thing happened. Pastor's wife arrived in market with full conviction and small holy anger. People of Ebe Ekene, please buy this perfume with moderation. Even church members now smell richer than offering box. We laughed, but she was serious. During prayer meeting yesterday, everyone's perfume started competing. I nearly anointed microphone instead of forehead. Somebody from the back shouted, "Now Holy Spirit version of scent of glory." Even she laughs before remembering she came to warn us. That evening, when Madame Esitimi was locking up, I noticed she paused, looking at the crowd with that same calm face. She didn't look tired. She looked full, like someone collecting invisible harvest. She ran her fingers lightly over the table before covering the bottles, almost like she was patting children to sleep. "Good night, madame," we called. "Good night, my people," she said softly. The smell followed her again, that polite fragrance that never raised voice. At home, people talked. I think her perfume is mixed with small prayer. Maybe she trained abroad. That woman must have perfume spirit. Everybody had theory. Nobody had sense to stop buying. But because truly, who suspects blessing when it smells nice? Night rolled in. Generators hummed. Some customers counted profit. Others counted disappointment. Esitimi lit her lantern, brought out her brown gourd and touched it again. To a few old bottles, this time the gourd glowed faintly like it remembered every skin it's met. She whispered something, closed it and smiled. Outside, the breeze moved through Ebe Ekene, carrying mixed aroma, fish sweat, diesel, and the same sweet perfume, gliding above everything like a quiet promise. And maybe, if you listen carefully, you could almost hear the promise whisper back. It's only beginning. By the 3rd week, Ebe Ekene was smiling like success, but walking like confusion. Small gist began to grow leg. Only maybe came back. My sister said she sent the money. Bank said no alert. Keme shouted, customer promised to return with his leg. He returned with excuse. Tifagaro signed. My bank manager now says pending approval. Even my name is pending. We laughed the way people laugh when they don't need to accept sense. Maybe Mercury is retrogressing, Auntie Tara announced, mispronouncing confidently. Abeg shift, Mercury, don't you know Ebe Ekene? Matonte replied, tying scarf like she wanted to tie destiny itself. Still, something was off. Like someone shifted our blessing 2 inches to the left. Then Pattern arrived wearing uniform. Every person with delayed favor had one thing in common. Scent of glory custom. Not the 1,200 regular. The custom one. The one with a tiny oil rub. That afternoon, the market formed committee of unsolicited investigators. We carried our gist to the palace square. The king, Obong Asekwo, sat calm. That kind of calm that made people tell the truth. Chief priest Tete joined too, eyes half closed as if he was reading subtitles from the air. Talk, the king said. People talked. My business is smelling fine, but money is dodging. My fiancé said he loves my new scent. Next day, he traveled and fell in love with network problem. My mother-in-law started greeting me sweetly. Now she won't pick call. Ete nodded slowly, faced like weather was about to change. Who brought the perfume? Madame Esitimi Odaro. We answered together because unity is sweet when it concerns somebody else. They sent for her. She walked in calm, wrapper neat, eyes polite, scent behaving like good manners. "Good afternoon, my king." "Good afternoon," the king replied. "Your perfume has made our town smell rich, but favors are misplacing our dress." "Explain why." Silence sat down beside us. Esitimi looked around as if counting familiar faces. "My perfumes are clean," she said softly. "I only blend to match people." "And the oil?" Chief Priest Etete asked without blinking. She held his gaze. "To capture the natural scent." "And their glory?" he asked again, voice not loud, but he stood up. The crowd stared. My voice did small marching parade. The chief priest set a calabash on the ground, poured libation, and spoke a name that rolled like trumpets. Oyon. The wind changed key. Esitimi's shoulders pinched for a moment, then settled. The king's eyes narrowed. Some of us shifted back, the way people shift when gist is about to expose family secrets. Ete continued, voice steady. "Years ago, we banished Mama Oyo for a death she did not cause. Lies carried her to the forest. Shame buried her there. A child watched." He turned to Esitimi. "Your mother?" The market gasped in one language. Esitimi's face didn't crack, only her voice did. "I was there when she died," she said, almost like a prayer. "I promised her the town would smell her name, that they would remember. And so you made a covenant of scent," Ete said. "You take a drop of people's essence through the oil, bind it into the perfume, and their glory bends, slowly, softly, while they smell important." We all looked at our wrists like suspects. The king raised a hand. His voice came out gently, but it carried weight. "Esitimi Odaro, the sin against your mother is ours. We will not repeat it. Replace our people's glory, and we will cleanse Mama Oyon's name. Publicly, properly, the way we should have done." The square held its breath. For the first time since she arrived in Ebe Ekene, Esitimi trembled. Not much, just enough to show a human being under all the quiet. She looked at the women who had laughed with her, the men who bragged with their scent, the children who followed her store because it smelled like festival. Then she nodded once, like someone finally set a heavy load down. "Bring water," she said. They brought a big clay pot. She opened her brown gourd and the scent in the air changed. Richer, heavier, familiar. She poured the contents into the water and stirred with the palm frond, whispering a name we all know. Then she raised the bowl slightly towards the sky and spoke. "Mama Oyon, forgive. Let the town return what is theirs, and let the town return what is yours, your good name." She poured the water out slowly, letting it touch the earth. A breeze ran through the square like a message. Somewhere a baby stopped crying. A generator that had been misbehaving remembered manners. Phones pinged, two people shouted alert at the same time and nearly hugged. You could feel it, like a log gently returning. Faces softened, shoulders dropped, the air became lighter, honest again. The king stood. From today, the record will show Oyon was innocent. The palace will mark a day in her honor, and Esitimi, if you choose, you may remain here, not as enemy, but as daughter whose pain we finally heard. The market exhaled. Some cried small. Even Chief Agbero wiped eye, the way big men do, sideways, denying evidence. Esitimi bowed her head. "Thank you," she whispered, then added almost shy. "I will close my perfume store." Silence blinked. An open word, Antitara asked, because spirit of curiosity cannot be delivered. Esitimi smiled the small smile we had ever seen on her. "A sewing place. I'd like to make simple dresses." We clapped loud, relieved, ready to move forward. 2 weeks later, a new signboard appeared where the golden bottles used to stand. Tread and quiet. Tailoring by Esitimi. People came with their clothes not because we didn't remember, but because forgiveness is also a kind of perfume that settles on the town. We joked small to keep balance. "I beg, sew my skirt, but don't sew my destiny inside. Madam, measure only clothes, leave my future where it is." She laughed now, real laughter. Needles flashing, machine purring like a cat that knows it belongs. Business studied, favor found its correct address again. Onyi received her sister's money. Keme sold 2 pairs in 1 hour without bribing. Even Boma the tailor finished 1 dress before sunset. We opened soft drink for that. And me, I stood in the middle of Ebe Ekene, breathing the new air. It smelled like fish and diesel and clean rain and something gentle beneath it, like a lesson that refused to be loud. So here's the moral we carried home. When sweetness enters your life, check the price. Some blessings come with receipt. Others are borrowing your glory for transport. Ebe Ekene learned to ask questions with nose and with sense. And every time a new vendor arrives with miracle price, someone will always ask, wait first, let us smell with wisdom. The end. Some of the lessons we learned from this story are, not every sweet thing is safe. Pain can turn to revenge, but revenge never brings peace. Learn to ask questions before you enjoy comfort. I hope you guys enjoyed this wonderful masterpiece. Please go ahead and click on the subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so you'll be the first to know when I drop a new story. Like the story and leave me a wonderful comment. And I'll see you in the next one, my loves. Till then again, bye. Mwah.
Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please click on the subscribe button to support us. Turn on the post notification to get notified when I upload a new story. Like, share, and comment your thoughts. Till then, bye.